What's up, man?
Davey, we've heard a lot of talk about leadership already today. Right? What are the characteristics in players you see for leaders on a team that has been a sport where usually guys always want to?
It's important that people want to be around you and want to follow you. I think that's first and foremost. So how you carry yourself, how you treat your teammates, how you show respect to everybody that's around you, like all those things matter first and foremost. And then you have to be genuinely willing to sacrifice of yourself for the greater good. And I think if you're able to do those two things, it gives you the ability to lead, because those are typically traits that people want to follow.
JB, coming into obviously a busy summer of transactions, what excites you about this roster the most going into camp and preseason next week?
The mix of talent and type, and then being around these guys and being able to experience them, their personalities, the energy that they've brought every single day, has been fun. Veteran guys have been willing to do more, be around more. You talk about leadership, but spending time with young guys, spending time with the coaching staff, so that they can help. So that speaks about what they're about, what their intentions are. And then there's, that blend of young talent, positionally as well. We don't have like an overload at one spot. I think, you look at the roster from the point guard position to the bigs. You have a lot of guys who have a different skill set, and they're going to allow us to be very versatile on both ends of the floor. I think he's going to take steps. We allow guys to play with a freedom as long as they're playing to their strengths and playing, with a team mindset and a selfless mindset. So with that freedom, a lot of times gives guys confidence. And what we've seen is the difference a lot of times between average, good, and great is belief. So we want to give him the ultimate belief, right? As a coaching staff, it's our job to make him feel 7 feet tall and bulletproof when he's out there on the floor. But, where our job is, and not only with Cade, but it's with the rest of the group, is, the next step is how do we make plays that impact winning? And how does our game impact winning? Because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. And that's something that doesn't typically happen overnight. But from one season to the next, from the beginning of the year to the end of the season, you can see the guys that are starting to figure out, okay, these are the plays that impact winning. These are the times. It may not be a play in the fourth quarter. Maybe a play in the first quarter that, you take a charge, it energizes your teammates, like those types of things, throughout a basketball game that impact winning. And that's what our focus is. Well, they wanted to be here. I think that's important to mention, is that those guys wanted to be here, wanted to be a part of the process, and they understand, exactly what they're getting into. It wasn't something that they were blindsided by. And because of that, their mindset is, and just the conversations is like, they just want to give back. Obviously, they see opportunity, here, opportunity to get on the floor, but opportunity to be a mentor, opportunity to be a great veteran. I think that's one of the things that's kind of changed over the past years. When young guys came in, they would always have a vet that would kind of take them under their wing and show them, how to survive in the NBA, how to come up with a routine, what professionalism looks like. And these guys have embraced that, and that's what they want to do here. Their skill set helps the young guys, providing spacing and those types of things. So it helps our young guys on the floor, but they're also willing to accept those roles of a mentor off the floor.
Is this preseason different for you than past ones?
I guess it takes you back to the first year of, all the jobs that I've had in the past. But this is about, building a foundation for us. And that's what the focus of this preseason will be is, we're at the bottom of what we do, how we implement our system on offense, on defense. So we're going to start there, right? And we're not going to skip any steps. So that's the mindset that our coaching staff has, is this preseason is the foundation of what we're going to do here today and moving on into the future. And we have to make sure that foundation is strong so that we can sustain the success when we get there. I think, Isaiah obviously being around a little bit longer, but JD is, what exactly is our NBA skill, and how do we do that on a night in, night out basis and find that consistency? What we've noticed in just a small amount of time and watching film with him on him is, JD's ability to handle the ball and make plays. And is that something that we can unlock with him, to kind of open up his game a little bit and get him involved earlier in the clock so everything isn't such a grind. And then, Stu obviously has been playing some 4 here, but as a 5, how do you put pressure on the rim? One of the things he's elite at is offensive rebound. And so how do we put him in position where he can carry out his elite NBA skill? And again, we keep saying the same thing, is what this is about is contributing to winning. And we've got to find the skill set of each individual guy that helps him contribute to winning. And that way the team takes a jump because everybody's focus and skill sets are there.
Heading into the season, what do you consider the team's greatest strength? Conversely, what do you think is the biggest weakness?
I'd like to hold on that and get a little bit of time to be around the group as a whole. Obviously, you watch a ton of film, and we've studied the guys individually. But it's something where I prefer to just be with the group in a team setting, in a practice setting, before we jump out, to any of those things. Again, I'm excited about this group, the time that we've spent together. Again, their energy has been amazing. Their willingness to do whatever it is that we've asked them to do, to be around each other, the commitment to wanting to take steps and grow. But I think this team, it does present some versatility when you look at it and the size that you'll be able to play with at different positions. You look at a lineup where you can play Cade at your point guard and then surround him with 6'7", 6'7", on up, is exciting to a coaching staff with switching lineups and all those things. So the versatility, I think, is there. But, again, I want to make sure I get my hands on them before I come out with that. It's the foundation matters. What we do and what we say in the very beginning of this matters. How we act every single day, how we carry ourselves matters. Holding people to a standard matters. And I think what you see a lot of times in situations like this is, young guys just get to play, right? And they get to play and make mistakes, and they know that they're going to keep playing, so, they don't learn as quickly as they should. We're going to hold guys accountable. There's a standard that Detroit Pistons basketball will look like, and everybody will be expected to play to that standard. And it's pretty easy, right? We tell our guys there's 2 things you can control every night: how hard you can compete and how selfless you play the game. And if guys are competing their tails off and playing selfless basketball, we'll live with some mistakes, right? But we know those guys will eventually learn and impact winning because they're doing those 2 things night in, night out.
And having that perspective of the Cleveland turnaround, kind of coming into Detroit, what was it that attracted you to the Pistons that you believe you could have that same type of success?
Be honest with you, the most important thing was the conversations that I had with Trajan. There was a time where, I had my mind made up that, my family and I were going to move to Southern California. We were going to take some time off, do a little TV, relax a little bit. But I had conversations with Trajan that just, re-energized me to want to be a part of this situation. I trust his leadership. I trust his intelligence. The fact that, through his life, he's been through things, so he doesn't make, reactionary decisions, right? He doesn't worry about what outside people think. He focuses on what's important right now and what basketball reality is. And so there's a trust there that I have with him and a belief in him that, he's going to be willing to stick through the hard times to get the job done. And, that excited me. Obviously, the guys that were on this team, excited me. You see the young guys, whether it's Cade, J.I., J.D., on and on. The draft was already done, so Ron was already here. Bobby was here. And then, again, the veterans that were added to the group. It just felt like it was the right place and, like, the right type of guys for me also. Like, hard-nosed, tough-minded, gritty guys. Like, those are the type of guys that I like to go to war with. Yeah, he has a lot on his plate because we're asking him to do, a lot because we believe in his abilities. Not only will he be focusing on the shooting, but he's also going to be, a major part of our staff, scouting games and all those things. But shooting is something in the NBA that, sometimes we feel like only the guys that need help get help. But we're asking Fred to put together a program where he's working with everybody. So, he's got to, 1 through 15, find a way to spend time with all those guys. And a lot of times it's not a complete correction. It's, okay, this is what you do when you make shots, so let's just do more of that. And that's what he'll be focusing on, is studying what guys do when they make shots and then working with them to get to that place more than not. Yeah, we've talked, and that's something that you'll see is commonplace. Like, we spend a ton of time with the guys, not just on the court, but having conversations with them so that things don't get too big, right? If we go 3 weeks without talking to a guy, so much has happened that it's kind of hard to digest all of it at once. So we try our best, to have conversations with guys all the time. And the conversation with J.I. is, we're here to help him as best we possibly can. We believe that there is a lot there and that he has a high ceiling. And it's our job to figure out how we put him in positions to be successful. What we believe in is putting guys in positions of strength. And I know a lot of times as guys go through development, they spend so much time working on their weaknesses. And if they're not having success at their weaknesses, it impacts their confidence, which then ultimately impacts the things that they do well. So our focus is, let's put guys in positions of strength, give them that confidence, give them that belief. And then, on the side, when we're doing our pre-practice work, our post-practice work, when guys come back at night, like, that's where we really, really focus in on things that they need to improve on, so that when they get to it in the game, they have belief and confidence in it. Because, to me, that's the difference, is the belief in the ability when you're out there on the floor, and the mindset of being confident that lets these guys be, the players that we believe they're capable of. You try to learn no matter where you are, right? And you pick up things. You work with so many different players and understand, the mindset of each player is different. What pushes them, what makes them want to be great. How do you help them, in adverse moments? So figuring out relationships with guys is huge. Again, we're talking about spending that time, but we've got to figure out, how to push each guy's button. And you do that by building those relationships, with star-level players, role players. Doesn't matter. You treat them all the same.
We talked about the importance of presence, and he matters because shooting impacts spacing. In Cleveland, you dealt with a curious spacing situation. What did you learn in Cleveland about suboptimal spacing that could help you in Detroit, and how to maximize that?
It's funny now because spacing has become simply about the three-point shot. But there were great offensive teams that played with two big guys on the floor, on block and block. You know what I mean? And people were still able to get to the basket. You go all the way back to Jerry Sloan's Utah teams, and, they had sometimes 8 guys in the painted area, but they still found a way to score a ton of layups. So, spacing is relative to what you're trying to get out of it. Working with two big guys, understanding, how they work together. One guy rolling, another guy working short, like creates space there. There's also vertical spacing for guys who can catch lobs and those types of things. And then there's also ways where you can put smaller guys in positions like in the dunk spot, right? Like you think about the Celtics a long time ago would put Rondo in the dunk spot. Now you've got a small guy down there versus a big who's rolling, which creates more space also. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can create the space beyond just using a three-point line. All right, thank you guys.